How's it going, everybody? It is Matty here, doing week 6 of the H.A.M Radio Podcast.
And me, LoneVaultWanderer, still a bit croaky in the morning. It's 6 a.m.
6 a.m. where he is, and I'm Noah. You all know me.
We're supposed to have a guest this week, but unfortunately, haven't heard much from him, so...
Hopefully he'll come on at some point in the podcast, but we're still waiting. But we'll proceed as usual.
Yes, each week gets more and more chaotic as Lone is pressed for time. Got to catch a plane this morning, huh? Anyways, wanted to cover one thing real quick. We were kidding about the H.A.M Radio Podcast mod, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of you were actually asking us if we wanted that. But if you want to make a mod involving us in some ridiculous story... You have our permission. Free. Yes, we will play it through and everything. Anyways, we want you to be the fourth member of this podcast, so be sure to tweet at any of us using the hashtag HAMRadioTime with your answer to the following question. What is your favorite game of all time and why? Let us know on Twitter. Anyways, let's move on to this week's news roundup. We have a lot of news to talk about. This is what I love about this podcast, because every week it starts off like, oh, fuck, it's going to be a dry week in news, and then just out of nowhere, it just picks up. So... Yeah. I absolutely love that about this podcast. So this week, this piece of news was kind of uncovered by a fan when he tweeted at me. This is a little update on the Nuka-Cola trademark that was submitted back in October of 2014. So recently, actually, and by recently I mean yesterday, Bethesda has released new store items for Nuka-Cola. And around October last year, as I said, Bethesda submitted a trademark on the name Nuka-Cola. All three of these trademarks were submitted with the intent of use. 2 of these 3 trademarks were submitted for computer and games, and the other was for clothing. So, with that said, since they're making use of their property that was protected, does this support the theory that it'll be used in game and whatnot? Because they're making use of it for clothes, so are they going to make use for it in games, or are they protecting like past stuff? Is that?
I feel like they already had like, I guess my theory behind it is like, just because they patented it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, that means it's going to be, I would imagine it would be in Fallout 4. But I think the patenting and the copyright and like all that kind of stuff was done mainly just for the use of the ability to put it on merchandise and whatnot, Yeah. In my opinion,
Yeah, because the Nuka-Cola term, I guess, is one of the more unique things from Fallout. It makes sense to copyright it.
Like
there aren't exactly. Like, there's not that many other things in Fallout that I could think of that would be great for merchandising. But the Nuka-Cola brand, I guess, is so well known that they could easily make sales off it. So they're just protecting their IP.
Yeah, I was just wondering because since 2 of the trademarks, were for computer and games, I found it a bit interesting because I don't know if they were just, like I said, protecting it from Fallout 3 and New Vegas, where, it was just stuff in their game and they didn't want to have it copied from other games somehow. Even though those games would be criticized to shit for blatant copying. But, I just found it a bit interesting that something that happened so long ago that one of our viewers just picked up on. They're like, yeah, does this have to do with the Nuka-Cola trademark? I'm like, I totally forgot about that.
I didn't even remember that one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just went back to my YouTube videos. I typed in trademark. I'm like, oh, yeah, let me rewatch this. I brushed up on everything. I was like, oh, yeah, this kind of does line up with everyone's theory. I don't know, like, I feel like it's just a sake of, like you guys said, protecting their property and nothing really more than that.
Right.
Still exciting, though, to see that they're making use of these trademarks. And more so, what's best about this is that the trademark, it must be, at least from what I'm seeing here, real then. So a lot of people were accusing these trademarks, because I was looking back at the older comments, that people thought that it was fake. And so, at least we know it's real, I suppose, based off this.
There are so many fake trademarks being submitted, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they just won't get through the application phase, but you'll see the initial application, and everyone freaks out, and then it turns out to be fake.
Yeah,
but this is one of those ones where it is real.
Remember Shadows of Boston blew up? Like,
oh my god. Is there an S there? Shadow or Shadows of Boston? It was fucking nuts.
Anyways, speaking of fans looking too deep, that's what we're going to highlight now. This week was St. Patrick's Day, and Bethesda was posting pictures of a Vault Boy holding a 4-leaf clover, and fans felt it was symbolizing something. Also, an even bigger shindig happened on my personal Twitter account when a viewer tweeted at me a picture of the cookies in his browser, thinking that the date had something to do with Fallout 4 because it landed on June 17th, which is near E3. Now, I'll admit, at the time, it didn't really make sense to me because I'm not a web developer, but when it was explained to me by Slappy Mancuso, the guy who did the web developing analysis on Bethesda's website, and realized that they may be starting up a new website. But once he explained everything to me, I couldn't help but roll my eyes. I was like, really? Like, it's just a date? and that's it. So what do you guys think about Fallout fans just looking too deep? Just
Well,
is
that's
it only
Fallout
us?
fans.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it only us or?
I
can't
think
of
it's
another
people
fan
just
base.
trying to. I think it's because it is an unannounced game. I mean, and now people will be like, it is announced. Officially, it's not announced. People are just looking for things to be excited about, which there's nothing wrong with. But at the same token, we do need to be realistic about a lot of things, And
Yeah.
I don't think I think the 4-leaf clover for, the picture was just them being, festive.
That's what I was
Yeah.
saying in my video. I did that for my shit people say about Fallout 4 series this week. I was just like, look, like Bethesda is just trying to be current and festive right now.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing more than that. It's a 4-leaf clover.
I think it's cool that they even put out a Vault Boy though, because that's that's still showing love to the IP of Fallout.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I think the Vault Boy itself means more to the potential release of Fallout 4 than the clover actually does.
4
Exactly.
leaves. It's like
Exactly. But I think it's just, I don't know, there are millions of Fallout fans that you'd expect people to just to read into things. And I remember, do you remember one of the Christmas cards which had the Keeper from the Evil Within?
God.
Oh
This is
my
a joke. This is
God.
legitimately a joke that I made. On the apron, it looked like there was a 4. So I just drew a 4 there, and everyone's like, "No way! It's Fallout 4 confirmed!"
Oh
like,
my
The Illuminati.
No, I remember speaking of that, the there was like lasers in the background of that Christmas card, and and someone tweeted at me a picture, and he lined up like with a red marker a 4 on these lasers. I was just like, oh God, like, and I retweeted it because I thought it was funny more than anything. And like the whole community just blew up. They're like, "Oh fuck! Oh shit! This is it." I'm like, "No, it's not. Like, it's not." There's also on top of that, I think on the right side were like 2 blue lasers, and then on the left side were 2 red, and they were all like crossing. And people were, I got so many messages of people saying, "Do you think that since there's a total of 4 lasers, this is symbolizing something? Like maybe it's a smaller picture, and when you stretch it out, it's like people from like the Brotherhood of Steel and the Enclave shooting at each other." I'm like, oh my God.
What about the original Christmas card, which had the safe and then the wires look like the number 4?
Oh,
you remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
So many people were getting into that. Like, I can promise you, marketers. It's not wrong to think that marketers hide things in images because they
obvious
do
when they hide things. You know what I mean?
But
like, you see,
but it's not as cryptic as you think. It just isn't.
Yes, we just have
As
bright
Pete Hines
imaginations.
strokes his cat.
Yeah, I think it's awesome when fans get this excited for it. That's awesome. Like I'm that makes me happy and stuff. But again, it's just don't read
Look,
too much into it.
this attention to detail, it's eventually gonna uncover something that is real. So keep at it.
I think
Exactly.
that attention to detail showed itself during the website update. Who the fuck would have noticed that? I don't know.
Oh,
See, that's good looking. Looking at a Christmas card though, like with a microphone or a microscope, it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not you're not gonna find a whole lot.
Yeah, I agree. But I figured, I get some extra opinions on these Fallout fans looking too deep here. Moving onwards to some not Fallout news. Here we go. We're going to talk about the plague of Bethesda. This week, ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, if you didn't know that's what the abbreviation is for, is officially rebranded as Tamriel Unlimited. This means it's officially going pay once and play model, as well as various other updates are being added to the game. But the biggest one is the addition of the criminal justice system. What this does is lets players interact with their surroundings like they would in a single-player Elder Scrolls game. For example, you can steal stuff, but you may not get away with it, and you can just kill citizens as well.
Well,
I laughed when I saw this because it's a fucking MMO. It's an MMO, Bethesda.
oh, dude, but you would some of the role playing that people get into, like with World of Warcraft and stuff like that. I mean, they get. And I'm not hating on it. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But people get into it,
But it's what I'm saying though is not like in a condescending way. It's an MMO, Bethesda, but I'm saying it's an MMO. Stop trying to make it a single player game. If you want to make Elder Scrolls 6, go fucking make it. Like I don't get why they. I mean, I get why this appeals to more Elder Scrolls fan, and this kind of is a selling point for Elder Scrolls fans when they look to pick up this game in the summer, maybe because they'll be able to play it by themselves. But I feel like I just foresee this. It launches in June. There are trolls killing citizens everywhere, and then the game just can't keep up with it, and some people won't see certain NPCs on screen, and that happened without citizens being killed during the launch on PC last year. So I'm just thinking to myself, it's gonna be chaos. Like, they're just asking for trouble now.
Yeah, and I think it's also an attempt. I don't know how popular ESO is right now. I know they did go free to play, right?
Correct.
If I remember correctly. Okay, I thought they did.
Or it's like a buy once. You pay $60. It's like any game, I guess.
Yeah, I think now they're just really trying to compete, and I say that with air quotes because it's just
not gonna compete.
It's so hard for certain MMOs to just get their name out there if it didn't already do it. I'm not saying it's a bad game, but it doesn't do anything new for certain things. So,
Yeah. I was just listening to Boogie. He had some views on this, and he just said he was playing SO and he didn't feel like a hero, which was some of the charm that you got from playing Skyrim and Oblivion, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's lost when you're in an MMO because it's just all these other players walking around, and you kind of feel just like one of many. So it doesn't have that charm to it. So I don't know.
That is a good
That's
point.
why I don't get, like, they can make the gameplay focused to single player, but like when it comes to the storytelling, you can't change that because they already tried to structure the game so that like I think they call you the chosen one in the game, and since you're running around with 1,000,001 other chosen ones, it doesn't.
It's like you don't matter.
Yeah, you're not the chosen one technically.
The chosen ones.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why, like, I see what they're trying to do here, but it's too late. Why don't they try to cater?
It's too little, too late.
Yeah, like, why don't they try to innovate a little bit? I feel like
I think they're just trying to get players in, and honestly, again, it's just too little, too late. I think the focus should be shifted to other things. Honestly.
Like,
yeah.
I see them right now just looking at the feedback thinking, oh, this doesn't feel like an Elder Scrolls game. We want it more like an Elder Scrolls game. So they're like, all right, we're going to try and integrate more single-player aspects into this like you love. But then that doesn't really become an MMO. I really like they need to have SO stand on its own, or Tamriel, whatever the fuck the name is. They need to be innovative and try and separate themselves completely, I think, from Elder Scrolls, because it's an MMO. It's not a single player anymore. Embrace what it is. Don't say the player is the chosen one. Just come up with a different context that makes sense in an MMO environment. And then that's the way you're actually going to start an MMO series and have people come to it. You can't expect people that have loved a single player game for so long just to simply transition to it simply because it's Elder Scrolls. And that's why I think they should have just done a new IP, to be honest. But
I just feel like it wouldn't have gained any audience. Like, Elder Scrolls Online, like, it works in its universe because it is Elder Scrolls. It's not like Fallout where everyone's basically dead. In Elder Scrolls, like, it's a robust universe. There is civilization.
It's not post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. So it does work. They had the name, so they had the basically free marketing that way because it said Elder Scrolls in the title.
Yeah.
They just kind of had to. I know I'm making it sound easier than it actually is, but they just had to make a good game.
They just had to make a good game. I mean, why can't all companies do that? Idiots. No.
Really, in retrospect, it wasn't a bad game per se.
No.
It was just that it didn't keep my attention.
It didn't do anything new. I mean, even in just the MMO genre, it didn't really do anything, like I said, new. And that's kind of the issue with MMOs right now is, like, if it's not World of Warcraft or it's not like Guild Wars or like all, there's like these solid like 5 or 8 MMOs like that people play and love, and then there's like 1,000,001 other ones that do the exact
like Lord of the Rings Online,
that do the exact same thing, and it's just they're just not pulling people in like they want to be,
Yeah, that's why, in my opinion, MMOs are bad business.
They're a risky business. It's like buying
risky.
a boat.
It's just like you make so many sacrifices to make a good MMO. I feel like why not just take that money and make a really, really, really good single player game with like a multiplayer component? It's just
And ESO rubbed me the wrong way really, really badly. I know they don't do this now, but when they came out and initially and had $60 and then $15 subscription.
Yeah.
You know, that was ridiculous to me. I was just like,
I'll never forget when this is the last time I ever got caught up in a honeymoon phase for a game because I smacked myself so hard for it. But like when I played Elder Scrolls Online at first, I was really into it. I was like, this is an actual Elder Scrolls game, and I said that in the video. Yeah, but I got caught up in the honeymoon phase. I wanted to beat the shit out of myself, and I rewatched that video. I was like, no.
But at least you
I was
learned.
like, this is an actual Elder Scrolls game. You should pick it up if you're a fan. And now
it's not just an MMO.
it's more than that. This is the game that Elder Scrolls has always dreamed of being.
Is that what you said?
No.
That's what marketers say.
Yeah, that's what every marketer says when they need to attract attention to their game. This is the game we've dreamed of making in a Swedish accent.
In a Swedish accent.
Anyways, this is less of news and more so I guess kind of a what we know so far. Now, I accidentally spoiled it for Noah and Lone, but I want the viewer or the listener to be honest with themselves. I'm going to go ahead and describe what this game is, and you guys are going to tell me in the comments if you think this game sounds cool, and I'm going to tell you what game it is, all right? So, GameSpot did a what we know so far for a certain game. Here's what it said. It has the same visual style of Dishonored. It is a third-person action game that focuses on melee combat more than shooting. It is both competitive and co-op since you can play on teams, and each player's class have things that others can't do, so it kind of makes you unique on the battlefield. On top of that, customization is unclear at the moment, but when it comes to classes, customization is unclear, but characters can be visually customized. You let me know in the comments if that sounds cool. It sounds decent to me, but that game, ladies and gentlemen, is Battle Cry. And that is a Bethesda published free-to-play game that's going to be like a multiplayer game. It was supposed to be in a beta. I'm pretty sure when they first revealed it, it was supposed to be I think they said it was early 2015 was where the beta was supposed to be, and we haven't heard shit about that game I think since E3. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this, Noah? Huh?
I don't know why why are they wetting their feet with this? Like, why a competitive multiplayer? This isn't your realm. This isn't.
Well, it's not Bethesda making it. They're just publishing it.
Oh, who? Okay.
Yeah. It's I think Lionhead. No, not Lionhead. That's Fable. Jesus Christmas.
I don't even think they're still in business.
No, they're making a shitty Fable Legends game that looks so stupid.
A lot of people hated Fable 1 or 2 and 3. A lot of people liked Fable 1 and then 2 and 3 they
Three sucked in retrospect, but
I had fun with it, but I never really played the first one to compare it to. Like I had fun with 2, but I never played
2. I loved 2 was so good. But anyways, back to Battle Cry.
Don't upset people. You know, I don't know. This is a hard one for me.
You're a big competitive player.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Here's what turned me on, because I saw it was like online stuff, and then it said melee combat. All right, that never works online in melee. That makes me
think of Chivalry.
Yeah,
and Chivalry's fun, but it's not like
you're missing half the time.
A few hours, and then that's it.
I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate that.
Yeah.
You know, if any of you know the obscure, YouTube may not, but the game War of the Roses, I think is the name of it. It's kind of like Chivalry, only you run like insanely slow.
Mm-hmm.
And what's it called? It's just some people in the comments may know what I'm talking about. I imagine it being something like that. It's just a bad game.
I mean, I think there is a class in Battle Cry that's kind of like an archer in a way. But there's like cool mobility. It looks interesting, but since it's free to play, you can tell the budget's low and everything. It seems like
probably a test for something bigger.
Yeah, but it's like it looks. The only thing that's really unique about it is its Dishonored visual style, because it's from the guy who did the art style for Dishonored. So
that's cool.
So
it
looks
cool.
it looks very cool. That's about it. Like
only time will
nothing
tell.
else going.
Yeah. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is your Bethesda news wrap-up for the week. Moving on to the Fallout and Elder Scrolls Spotlight. I'm really excited about mine, so I want to go ahead and tell mine first. Okay, cool. Okay. Noah was in a Skype call with me when this happened, and he heard my initial reaction because I couldn't believe this. So I was playing Morrowind. I only have I think 7 hours in Morrowind. I got to play that game more. But anyways, I am walking from Saint Denis and heading to Ebonheart, and all of a sudden, after tons and tons of screaming, I see a body just drop out of midair. And I'm like, I think Noah, if you remember when I was in the Skype call, I was like, what the fuck is that screaming? Oh, I thought that was you. I was like, wait, what the hell? There's a body in front of me now. And so
for like 8 minutes, I'm asking you what's going on. You're like, oh, no. Holy crap, dude!
And so I loot this body, and I find these scrolls of Icarian flight. And next to the body is a journal. And so I read this journal, and I learned that this is a guy trying to create a spell that allows him to fly. And I just found this cool that this was just an entirely random event that just happened like that. And like, just I couldn't believe it, because I've been in this area before. I was just kind of walking around Morrowind because I enjoy doing that in this game. I just couldn't believe that just out of nowhere I just heard and just some guy just drops out of the sky, and I just find out that like he had like this rivalry, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna prove them all wrong. I'm gonna leap bounds and fly across the world. And I just thought it was so cool that this was a random event, especially like provided how old the game was, that they actually had time to add this into the game. Especially since this is like the make it or break it game for Bethesda. So I thought that was a really cool thing.
Yeah.
We need more random encounters in further Bethesda games. I fucking love them.
Agreed.
Honestly.
Yeah, like the Firelands. Like that's what it reminded me of.
Chock full of them.
But I'm talking like the crazy ones, like in New Vegas there was the aliens, in Fallout 3 was the Firelands that just flew out of the sky. I think Morrowind there was probably more cool random events, but this was one that I thought was kind of unique because like he dropped a journal and everything. It told the story just for no reason. It just totally sidetracked me, and like it really stuck with me. It stuck with me more than anything that game really has stuck with me, except the beginning. I love the beginning of Morrowind.
Yeah. Noah, what was going through your mind at that time? I
was sitting there, and he was like, he was just having like a shit fit. Like he was like, "Holy crap! There's a guy just fell from the sky." And I'm like, "What do you mean he fell from the sky?" Like I was like, "Okay, I don't know what you mean by that."
I couldn't believe it. I don't know why. It sounds, now that I read that whole paragraph I wrote down out loud, I realized, wow, this doesn't sound as fascinating as I'm making it out to be.
A guy fell from the sky because he tried to fly. Holy shit. No, I mean, it is really cool. It's cool that they put that little detail, because they didn't have to do anything and the game would be fine without it. Exactly. But because it has it, it just makes it that much, more what the fuck kind of enjoyable. Excuse me.
Anyways, where would like to go next?
Lone, why don't you want to go next?
I can go next.
All right, why don't you go next?
Fuck, I always have something to talk about Fallout. It's crazy.
At least you have something to talk about.
Exactly right. So I started playing Fallout 3 initially on the 360. I thought it was the best game ever. Eventually got a PC, played on the PC. This is sick. All these mods installed. It looks great. Have you ever tried to go back to console after playing on the PC with all mods installed and etc.? It's fucking the hardest thing to adjust to.
And that 30 FPS hits you like a bus.
Oh my god! It's not more the FPS. It's the textures are just terrible.
Yeah,
they're so low res that it actually hurts my eyes, and I don't enjoy playing it as much. Yeah. And it's ruined console gaming for me.
Funny you say that. I have a video on my channel called "This Is Why Fallout 3 on PS3 Sucks." And I was originally...
That video is so funny.
I was originally going to start a series called Fallout 3 Road to Platinum, where I would force myself to get the Platinum Trophy for Fallout 3. And in the first 10 minutes of me trying to play Fallout 3 on the PS3, it froze 3 times, I think, in the video. And I ended up getting so mad because of how fucked up this game was. Like, I was trying to load an older save file, and I bought new DLC for it so that because I had the Game of the Year edition. I was trying to load it because I was in the pit, so I bought the pit for it, Like, I spent extra money to make this series happen, and it...
Oh, that would crash it.
And no, that's what... It worked fine, and I was, like, in Tenpenny Tower, and it just wouldn't fucking let me leave. Anytime I tried to leave, the game crashed. Like, something was wrong with my file. I think I need to buy the Game of the Year edition, but what I'm trying to say, Lone, is that I can totally relate to your issue with going back to consoles, because I'm not saying that it's bad on, like, the 360 or even the PS3, because I have at least, like... 150 hours on my PS3 account. But it's just that...
It is an old-ass game, though. Yeah. Like, just comparatively.
Just like when if you're a console player, hear us out. When you go to PC for at least a Bethesda game... But I'm saying in a Bethesda game specifically, and then you go back, like it just doesn't work, and you'll understand why the PC Master Race jokes are made, but they're entirely serious, so they're not jokes.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be elitist or anything. It's just something that I noticed, and it was frustrating. I was like, "Holy shit! I enjoyed this game so much, and I'm going back, and my eyes hurt after playing that." And it's ruined it for me, and I kind of feel sad a little bit because my Fallout 3 copy is just sitting there crying in the corner, wanting me to play it, but it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I find the aging of video games interesting because you look back at certain games and you remember like how that was so revolutionary and like it looked amazing. I look at like Star Wars Bounty Hunter, like when it came to like animation, gameplay, and like the graphics, that game was so ahead of time that even when I play it now, like it ages perfectly. I'm like, wow, I can see why this game looked and felt amazing. It still feels amazing, but like you look at the graphics, and you're like, wow. And people at the time thought this was as good as video games are gonna get, and then 4 years later it was a 360 with like fucking Fallout 3, I think. So,
well, I was looking at funny you mentioned that because I recently have been looking at older games as well, and I remember I was looking at a game. I can't remember the exact name of the game, but I'll just go to another game. It was Tony Hawk was another one I was looking at, some of the older Tony Hawks, and I remember at the time, like I had no issue with the ride. I didn't even think twice about it. And then you look at like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, and you're like, oh, But it's like you have respect for it, but it's just so primitive. It feels like. But
yeah. Noah has to think of an idea.
No, well, I had one, and then I let Lone go, and then I forgot it. It was
what's funny is me and Noah were talking last night.
We had a good one.
And we had such a good one for Noah because it was like I think we were talking about Skyrim. I want to say we were talking.
I think it was. Oh, I remember what. Well, I remember this is what I had thought of. It was when. It was figuring out how alchemy, like different alchemy ingredients affected you. Mm-hmm. So if you took a bunch of them, like at one, you had to eat one, and it would show you what it did.
Yeah.
So if you ate like 6 or 7 of them at one time, your screen would be like and like freak out. And if you looked at yourself in third person, you'd be glowing like blue and green and stuff. And you'd have it was really weird. And like I remember when I figured that out, I figured it out by accident, and I was like, oh. Shit, am I gonna die? Like, it's just really cool.
I never used alchemy in
really?
Elder Scrolls. I think I need to make I made a video for Fallout, like called 20 Fallout Confessions. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make an Elder Scrolls one because I have so many bad Elder Scrolls confessions that I would love to make.
Hate.
Yeah, it's a fun way to gain hate. But it's also fun to make those videos because I like seeing the things that people say in the comments. Like one time for Fallout, someone said after playing Fallout, I couldn't go back to Skyrim because there wasn't a radio. But yeah, I'm just like, all right, then.
I have a bad confession about Fallout. The first time I played the game, literally from start to finish, I didn't know, and this is no joke, I didn't know that you could use other weapons to repair a particular weapon.
Really?
I didn't know you could do that.
That sucks. You were probably walking around with like every weapon you could.
I was walking around with like 20 hunting rifles. I'm like, I'm a god, and I didn't realize that you could fucking repair one. You know what? I'm gonna get angry if I think about this.
I remember repairing is like the thing I always focused on. I never in New Vegas. I never focused on building like ammo or anything like. I didn't care about the ammo. I was always focused on repairing guns. I was playing actually the other day, and I found I had like 3 plasma pistols, and I was like, oh shit! So I like repaired them because I had upped my repair, and now I'm rocking a plasma pistol, so living the life.
And I would have been rocking 3 plasma pistols. Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Firing one out of your mouth, like Jesus.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is your spotlight for the Fallout and Elder Scrolls games. Now we move on to the next segment where we talk about whatever game we're playing or our favorite gaming news bit of the week. Would anyone like to go first? I have a favorite gaming news bit I'd like to talk about. I'll go first.
Don't talk about Nintendo.
Great. I hope not. No, I'm just kidding.
No. What I want to talk about this week is Star Wars Battlefront and how the gameplay reveal is coming at the Star Wars Celebration weekend next month. I almost banged my desk in excitement, but let's fucking go.
I'm so hyped. Shit, I think I just snapped my desk now. Okay. Anyways.
I can't wait. I still play Star Wars Battlefront. Like, I love this game so much. I still own my original Star Wars Battlefront copy. Like, the first Star Wars Battlefront for my Xbox.
Christ.
I love Star Wars Battlefront, and, like, they're both so good. I hope that when they reveal this, it's not just, like, a 2-minute gameplay trailer. Like, I hope it's an actual, like, one of those matches that's so chaotic and crazy.
I hope it's not a CGI trailer either. I hope it's actual, like, some gameplay.
They said it's going to be gameplay. Let's hope that they're telling the truth. But, like, there's one thing, Dice. If you're listening to me right now, please have Galactic Conquest. Oh, please.
I'm sure they will.
Oh, please. Like, I would cry if that wasn't in the game.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, just because that was the core game mode of Battlefront. That's the game mode you played the most. Like, you always went to Galactic Conquest and just kept destroying the galaxy because it was so cool. I don't know, Lone, have you ever played Battlefront?
No, I haven't.
We're gonna get into it. Trust me.
Bruh.
When that comes out.
If you guys want to gift it to me, just feel free.
I would, but like it crashes after one match on PC. It's so weird unless you have headphones plugged in.
What?
Yeah, if you plug in like headphones into the headphone jack. I'm not talking about like USB headphones like your Razors.
No, I know what you mean.
Beaches. Yeah, it makes no sense. But nonetheless,
that makes absolutely no sense. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
it has to be like a plug-in error or something like that.
Yeah,
I think so.
But that's my favorite news of the week. I was, oh my god, when I saw that, like I just woke up and it was one of those things where like, you know how you wake up and you hear some exciting news and like you just all of a sudden like it's like your body's been awake for an hour, just your kick started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how I was feeling.
I feel like that's gonna happen when I wake up to watch E3. Let's hope so.
Yeah, I'm gonna just roll out of bed. I'm gonna be like, all right, let's do this. Like I'm gonna fucking like shrug my shoulders and take off my shirt.
Oh, jeez, Brazzers.
Brazzers.
Okay, I'll go because
Sexy Ginger gets ready for E3 conference.
Okay.
That is the video title, please.
Jesus.
All right, so this is the news bit that was interesting to me. And I said Nintendo before because I wanted to know if you were talking about it. Huh. So Nintendo has decided, first of all, to go on mobile, which I think is great, but they're not porting old game, which I think is stupid.
Of course not.
It's actually kind of smart because their controls don't work well.
No, nothing.
Yeah, it is.
Smart.
Because like you think of like, not to interrupt you, Lone, but you think of like Mario. The touch controls don't work with Mario because that's like Twitch reflex kind of, where like the touch screen doesn't work well.
There is a little bit of a delay.
Yeah,
like a slight input delay.
If they build the games for the phones, like it would be awesome to always have like a custom built Pokemon game on your phone all the time. Just an example.
It would be cool, but my issue is that why not just port old games as well?
Because it's Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo likes to complicate things. But you were saying something else.
I was saying, all right, so and then they released that they had a new console in the making, NX, I believe it's called.
I'm sorry, what is it called?
I think it's codename NX for now,
okay.
And then obviously they'll think of another name. But
Gotcha.
The really weird thing is, as soon as that announcement came out, I walk into my local EB Games store. We still have that here.
Yeah.
And literally, they're taking pre-orders for the fucking console.
Wow.
It's
nothing is known about the game.
Nothing is known.
Is there even like a picture out of the console?
No, it's just like
that's
the next console. Pre-order it. I'm like, you're fucking kidding, right? I'm gonna chuck $10 or whatever it is to pre-order a concept.
It's a portable Wii. You can play it in your car.
Here's why I'm not excited about this. I'm not excited about the new Wii because I just bought a Wii U.
I don't remember the last time I was excited for a Nintendo game, anything. I've never, and people are gonna hate me for this, but I've never been a Nintendo person. I just haven't.
It's not really a bad thing though.
It's just I didn't grow up with it. Like I grew up with a Game Boy and I played Zelda. I played Zelda and Mega Man, and those were the two things I played a lot, on my Game Boy. And that was pretty much it,
Yeah, like
I grew up with a 64.
Yeah, I grew up with a 64 as well, but I mainly, like, most of my fonder memories were on Dreamcast and my original Xbox. That's I loved Shenmue, I loved House of the Dead, I loved Sonic. Those were awesome games growing up. Sonic.
Gotta go fast.
I remember playing Oddworld Munch's Odyssey on my Xbox. It was like probably the best launch game ever.
I remember Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank
was
those
awesome
two games. Loved them.
Alrighty, guys, I need to go take a plane. It was a pleasure as always. Sorry I have to leave. I enjoy listening to the rest of the podcast. Later.
Yes.
I'll figure it out.
All right, man.
All right, take
Safe
care, guys.
travels.
Love
See you later.
Mwah.
Peace.
Safe travels. Well, okay, dude.
Mwah.
I can't believe you just did that. All right, it's just me and Noah now. Well, good thing he left before giving his news. So if you'd like to get.
Great. Yeah, no. My news, my gaming news, my gaming news. Let me hop on Steam and see if it. Okay, 2K. My gaming news is that 2K 10th anniversary sale is going on. No, honestly, there hasn't been too much that's made me, other than the Star Wars. I mean, the Star Wars Battlefront stuff got me excited. You know, that was pretty much it this week, at least, like within the past 7 days. There hasn't been too much that sparked my interest. The new Titan X came out and is actually only $9.99.
I said $100. Jesus, I wish.
No, not 100, but 12 gig of VRAM Titan X is now $9.99 and makes the Xbox. Well, pretty much makes the Xbox One, PS4, and anyone else who has any type of video game related thing looks like a piece of shit. Makes it look like, you know,
basically.
Just because it's 12 gigs of VRAM. That's just VRAM. That's just to process the game, you know, the game's graphical abilities. You know, I can't even. Anyways, that's my gaming news.
No, I just realized this is like the old days, man. We're doing a dual commentary right now.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Noah on the map, Havana. I'm using the OG.
Oh my god! If you guys want to see some funny dual comms, look up Sheer Fruit Salad on YouTube.
You always find me in the comments. I mean, my icon is just the Noah, so you can click on that. And,
or if you, I think me and Noah have we have it. All right, I think we said this before, but if you want to go ahead and take the time, I'll have a link to the playlist. It's an unfinished Fear 3 Let's Play.
No, we finished it.
No, we finished the game together, but I never finished uploading all the episodes.
I hate you.
It's because I got caught up with Battlefield 3.
Oh, speaking of Battlefield, you've been playing Hardline quite a bit.
Yes.
We didn't do what we're playing.
Well, that's what this segment is. It's kind of like both.
Okay. Well, I've been playing Mirror's Edge. I've actually been streaming it.
Yes.
And you know, that game is. I get it's like a cult classic. I get that. Okay. It's the most frustrating fucking game I've ever played.
I couldn't finish it. I wasn't a fan of it really.
It's cool. I like the art style. You know, and it does flow really nicely. It's just like, I have a pretty decent PC. Okay, I don't mean to brag, I do though, and I get screen tearing up the ass on that game.
So
I don't know what it is. I will put it on medium. I'll put it on even low, and just screen tearing. It's just horrible. And I'm not going to use VSync because my monitor won't work. Like it's not good enough for VSync. So it's like it just and the game itself is also. For certain parts, Jesus Christ, it's frustrating.
Yeah, I watched your VOD on the rage.
if you want to go, if you saw that highlight, oh my God, I was raging so hard.
Yeah, I have been playing Battlefield Hardline. I'd go into my thoughts on it, but I already made an entire review that is out now. So if you guys want to know my full thoughts on Battlefield Hardline, by all means, go ahead and check that out. But look, the short version of it is that it's fun. I like it a lot. And I realized that I liked it a lot after writing about it when I was typing up my review. I was like, this game is actually really good. Mainly from the multiplayer perspective. I don't really like its campaigns there. It's good compared to other
first-person shooter campaign.
Yeah. That's why I didn't take it too serious or anything. I just kind of flew through it. I was like, okay, whatever.
And that's the thing about, I think, with Hardline is that if you take it for what it is, it's just a first-person shooter. It does make fun of itself in certain areas, and that's kind of cool. You'll enjoy it,
Yeah, but like I said in my review, if you've watched any share of crime television, you've seen this story before. Oh, drug war, bad cops.
Law and Order, Hardline edition.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on to the fan questions section. This is where you guys tweet in or post on my Facebook page your questions for the H.A.M Radio Podcast using the hashtag H.A.M Radio Time. So we had to scramble for questions because we thought we could fit Lone into this section, but nope. So we do apologize that we don't have any of your names written down, but you will know who you are, and just let us know in the comments down below. Anyways, the first question we have is, will we see another moment like Tranquility Lane? See things how they were before the Great War? I believe this came from Jeremy Schultz, who is a longtime fan. So thank you, Jeremy, for your question.
Jeremy.
I see. The reason why I say no to this question is because I feel like Tranquility Lane is like one of those unique ideas that
It's already been done.
Yeah, it's already been done, but like you don't even see other games replicating it. I feel like it's like a Fallout 3 thing only, where I don't see the point in trying to replicate that. I think a lot of people moving on to Fallout 4. I'm kind of nervous with the reveal of Fallout 4 because if it is Fallout 4,
I hope it's its own thing.
That's what I'm saying. Is a lot of gamers I've noticed are really holding on to the nostalgia of Fallout 3 and how much they like that. Yeah, and New Vegas. Where there's these certain moments like we want this kind of thing from Fallout 3 to be put in Fallout 4. The reason Fallout 3 and for some New Vegas was so special is because it took strides forward in its own direction. So I hope people can kind of let go of the past a little bit when this reveal happens, because I feel like there will be so many upset gamers if it's just something that because it's not like Fallout 3 or New Vegas,
I hope it's like Skyrim with guns.
Oh my god.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Although Tranquility Lane is to this day like one of my favorite existences of a video game. I remember finding that. If I remember correctly, it's been a few years since I played that portion, but it was like cannibals, right? It was like a happy-go-lucky town, and then
no, that was Andale.
Andale. Okay.
The Tranquility Lane was where like you got caught in the simulation and like you turn into the pint-sized slasher and you just kill everyone.
Yes. And you get the knife afterwards too.
Yeah. You like there's this actually I did it for the first time on a stream, I think during the summer last year. Mm-hmm. It's if you go into this certain house and you type in a special code, you can summon like the Japanese army or something like that.
What?
Or the Chinese army, I apologize. The Chinese army.
God.
And they just come in and shoot up the town, and then it just blows up, and you just get out of the simulation. Yeah, it's so cool.
Jesus. That is really cool. Andale, though. Going to Andale was awesome.
Yes.
I could say Andale a few more times in that sentence, but I'm not sure how. But
all right, so moving on to the next question. Sorry, I'm speaking slowly. I'm just writing down a video idea whenever I talk about Fallout, just these video ideas hit me. Anyways, moving on to the next question. Out of all things Bethesda has said about their new game, what all do you think were teases about Fallout 4? Now, this is an interesting question because I haven't heard a tease about Fallout 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I know that I'm assuming he's going based off what Todd Howard has said in interviews about like he feels like, okay, here's a perfect example is that, for example, this is like going back to looking too deep, because a lot of people thought that Todd Howard, when he said we want to be like quote boom surprise, we want this to be quote special, people thought this was relating back to the special skills in Fallout 3 and New Vegas, the SPE
goes back to people reading too much into it.
Yeah, like the strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, I forgot the A, and luck. Shit, I'm gonna get killed for that. But it kind of goes back to that, and like people are saying that since it says he's saying boom, that it's like a tease for Fallout 4. Like I think he's just speaking.
I think it's him just going off of what PR and should go. Common sense. I don't think it's anything crazy.
Yeah. What we do know, in answer to your question, I guess you could say about Bethesda's next game, it will be next gen only. If you are still in denial that it's going to be on the 360 and PS3, you need to screw your head on and start saving your money, because it is not going to be on those systems. I can promise you.
Yeah. My fear is, though, now that you bring that up, it depends on how long they've had the dev kits. Mm-hmm. For the Xbox One and PS4.
They can just scrap them, though. Mad Max did that. They were making it for the 360 and PS3, and then they were like,
Max
forget
isn't
it.
Coming out anytime soon.
It's coming out in, what's it called? September.
Fuck you. You don't know anything about this. Idiot. I'm just kidding.
But that's we don't know really. We have like a few facts about the game, but that's really it. The reason we know it's next gen only is because Todd was talking in an interview, and he was saying how what did he say? If you're like exploring in our new game world, when you walk up to like a bar, for example, like the area will load because of the next gen technology, like the extra RAM they have, the area will load so that you can just open the door and walk inside. So essentially like no loading screens is what he's saying there. But
it'll like preload as you walk up to it.
Exactly. Or maybe not no loading screens, but quicker, very fast.
Yeah.
Because Skyrims were very long.
I can see that though. I mean, well, but I mean, on PC they weren't that bad. Like,
No, they weren't.
you know, on console they were, but it was old tech. You know, I could see that. I could see. I mean, as like a amateur game developer, I'm trying to like think of how they would do that, and it would just be similar to like I mean, that kind of thing already exists. It exists in textures and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I guess they could just kind of put the same idea to
Areas,
you know, objects and assets and stuff. You know.
Yeah,
So
but
anyways,
that's
possible.
That's your answer to your question, sir. Moving on to the third question. In Fallout 3, you hear about multiple Pip-Boy versions. What if you can buy better ones than you get at the start? I'm assuming he's talking about in like future Fallout games.
Whoever asked this question, you're a god. This is an awesome question, and I think it's an awesome idea. Actually, like I would love to be able to get one. Like maybe it increases your VATS or something, and it has a different look to it. It's almost like a little more high tech. You know, granted, the Pip-Boy is a lot of the charm of Fallout.
Yeah.
But like, let's say you buy a Pip-Boy with a brighter light on it. You know, a brighter Pip-Boy light, or it's things like that. I think is a really cool idea.
One idea that a viewer posted for a Fallout 4 wishlist video that I did a while ago was like, imagine if every vault had, because like I thought that originally, you kind of look back on it, there's so many vaults in Fallout, but there's really in the games themselves, there's not like a shit ton. Like there's a good amount. There's enough to keep fans happy.
There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, but there's not this crazy amount. So a fan was suggesting that, like, imagine if each vault had like a new Pip-Boy part. And you could
That'd be cool.
Yeah, like you can get certain upgrades to your Pip-Boy at the end of like each vault or something like that.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, I'm totally for that. I really do hope though that in the next Fallout game that there are like these Pip-Boy upgrades, these like new versions of the
But
Pip-Boy.
I want them to be really hard to find because like the Pip-Boy is given to the user from the vault.
Yeah, the Overseer and
yeah, so not everyone has it, but like it would be really cool, like you said, to go into these other vaults and find these upgradable parts and stuff, almost like blueprints or whatnot, you know?
Yeah. I know in New Vegas, I always forget which one. I think it's New Vegas. They have the Pimp Boy. I think it's 9,000.
Yeah, it is New Vegas. It is New Vegas, and it's like gold plated.
Yeah. Like that's cool, but like I'm talking like. Have the fun ones like that, but also have the ones that like that if I put enough time in the game through like, you know, exploring or, you know, just playing, that I will get these bonuses to my bonuses isn't the right word, but like you said, I mean the like the brighter flashlight on your Pip-Boy, stuff like that will make my travels more easy,
but like cool, you know, like worth finding. You know?
And you can kind of see it, like you'll see mounted, like when you bring it up on your wrist, like you'll see mounted like at the end is now like a flashlight that shoots a light out instead of like a surrounding light on your.
Oh, you know what would be cool is like even if it's like haggardly done, like it's like duct taped to it, you know, like a literal like a flashlight duct taped to the Pip-Boy.
That'd be so cool,
you know, or something like that. I think a really cool one would be like a slow health regen if it's at a certain point. So if your health is down to like 20 HP, you'll slowly regen back to, you know, a certain
like has
amount.
Needles underneath it. Just stab you or something.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Like, you know,
they could get really creative with it.
They could.
So, in answer to your question, sir, we are totally down with multiple Pip-Boy versions. The fourth question is one that Noah, you're not too familiar with this game, so I'll try to handle this so you can kind of spring off me, springboard off my response. How about the possibility of Prey 2? And this, before you ask, ladies and gentlemen, no, this is not like a severely dated question. This is actually a current question that someone asked, you know, about the return of Prey 2. So here's the story with Prey 2. It was revealed at E3 2011 or 10, and it was to be developed by Human Head and published by Bethesda. And basically what this game was the sequel to the Star Wars Battlefront or Bounty Hunter games that we've always wanted, but it was like a first-person shooter. Like you had like you could shoot these like ties out of your wrist that would like wrap around like criminals' legs, and you can capture them alive and interrogate them, get more information about your next target, kill them, you know, and you get money off these targets. And there was like a parkour game as well. You had this crazy arsenal of weapons. No, I promise you when I say if you look up gameplay of this game, just don't do it. You're lucky to not know what this game is because it looked fucking sick. Okay, it looks so good. They had the best idea, and apparently Bethesda, like, I think they weren't willing to like work certain things out with Human Head. There were just
There may have
conflicts.
been 1,000,001 reasons.
Yeah, there were just I don't know what the specifics were, but there were conflicts between the developer and the publisher. And basically this game got stuck in a standstill. So nothing got done for like 3 months, which is awful for a game's development. Nothing being done. Like I'm talking nothing happening in this game for 3 months. And then all of a sudden rumors started surfacing about this game being passed off to who was it? Arcane Studios in Austin, because Arcane were the people who made Dishonored, and I think their studio was out in London or something, France maybe, I'm not sure, but they worked on Dishonored, and they're assuming to be working on Dishonored 2, but they opened a new studio here in Austin, and people were assuming that Prey 2 went to that team there, but this was based off of leaked emails.
You said here in Austin. You're not in Austin, man.
Yeah, my bad. I'm in the United States here in Austin, Texas. But so this was based off of leaked emails that like people actually got from the project lead of whatever they were working on at the Austin studio. So it's really interesting, and it's got to be totally real. I don't think these were fakes. It's like the person went on to the cloud and got them. Whatever, sketchy shit. But now Prey 2 has been officially canceled. And so I guess what you're asking is, after all that, is there a possibility that this game will be revived? I think yes, because this game still has a large demand, and this game was so cool, and Bethesda has to be stupid to realize that they would be basically not tapping into the potential of a great series by not rebooting it. Just reboot the whole game itself, bring it back to life, remarket it, rebrand it if you have to.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but
and if they're about to do something with Fallout, if they are about to do something with Fallout 4, it's not going to be. It's like it might be sometime soon, but not. Right
I feel like Prey 2 would be one of those games that would be like a surprise return reveal at their E3 conference.
What if that is what it is? Oh,
That's I'd be a good guesser then. But in answer to your question, the possibility of Prey 2. I still think it's 50-50, but I wouldn't take my word for it. That's just my opinion because I think the game looks awesome. That doesn't mean that Bethesda's going to say, whatever, let's go do it now because Matt thinks it's awesome. But anyways, moving on to the final question, one that Noah can answer with me. I'll let you start this one off. Okay. What would you guys like to see in the collector's edition of the next Fallout game?
Well, a funny story. If you guys don't know this, and I don't know why I'm saying this because... but it's on my channel I actually did an unboxing of the New Vegas special edition. Now that had, if you don't know, that had a hardcover comic book in it, a pack of cards, each one kind of resembling the different casinos in New Vegas, and then poker chips, again resembling the things of New Vegas. Yeah. I don't know why I'm having issues saying this. But what's it called? I would expect it's really hard to say because it
has to go along with the game itself.
Yeah, let's say it is in Boston. And then it's like, what's the theme gonna be? Are they gonna go with an Americana theme? Then you'd probably expect like a bobblehead or something like that. Different things like that. It's hard to say because again, Fallout 3's special edition was a lunchbox that had
I think it had a Pip-Boy as well if you bought like the collector's edition, like the most expensive one. I'm pretty sure it was like a Pip-Boy clock, I think.
Yeah, but the basic collector's edition had a lunchbox and it had I think a bottle of Nuka Cola in it.
I don't know.
I don't remember if it was that or it was something Nuka Cola related also. It's really hard for me to remember because I have seen the Fallout 3 special edition like in person, but it's been years since I've seen it. But it's hard to say. Again, it really depends. Like, and then Fallout New Vegas had the casino vibe going for it, so it is hard to say. But I would expect at least like a bobblehead and.
Yeah, I mean, we'll speculate a little bit here because he's saying what would we like to see as a not. So we're gonna pretend that Fallout 4 is the Boston set. Android-focused game that everyone seems to think it is.
AA batteries, then.
Yeah, a pair of AA batteries and a sandwich.
Yes.
I have no idea where I was going with that.
I don't either, man.
me personally, I don't know why, but the first thing that comes to mind is like the Phantom Pains kind of collector's edition with that robot arm. Like that's the first thing I always thought of when
like a model.
Yeah,
kind of.
That's what I always thought of. Like. To answer this question is basically what we already said is that we need to know what this game is, the theme of it, before we start theorizing collector's edition. It's just like what people saying, well, why doesn't Fallout 4 have like DLC in Europe? It's like, we don't even know what the full game is supposed to be.
Yeah,
why are we talking
about DLC?
Yeah.
It's, no.
Like, you can storyboard DLC as a developer once you're nearing the end of your final or your big project, but
when we have something major to go on, we'll re-answer this question.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll put our full thoughts in, but I expect it to be a lot of little knickknacks, really.
Yeah, the cool stuff that you can set up on your desk.
Exactly.
Wow, we just said the same
Dude,
thing.
we're like the same person.
Anyways, those are all 5 questions from you guys. Thank you for tweeting them at us. You can always send us questions and your answer to the question this week, which is what is your favorite game of all time and why, using the hashtag H.A.M Radio Time. Noah, thank you for your time.
Yes.
Ghost Lone Vault, thank you for your time.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Unfortunately, we didn't have a guest this week, but we should have him in next week. We have a super special guest coming up, which I won't spoil for you guys. Yes, it's a secret. So just get excited. We got lots of special people coming in. This show is really picking up here. So we hope you guys are excited for the future. And we do apologize for Lone Vault for having to cut out early. He doesn't like doing
happens,
that.
Though, so
yeah, he's got to
save your hate comments.
Got to catch a plane. But anyways, thank you, Noah, for your time once again. Thank you guys for listening this far in. And until next week, we will catch you later.